I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is our review of The Quarry, the latest from Supermassive Games. Now, it is a good horror spooks game. So when it popped up in my feed, when I first saw that announced trailer, I'm like, oh, there's only one person, not even you, Max, that I want to talk to about this game. And I was like, Max, you can get right effed because I want to do this review with one cat. Cat! From Hear Us Scream, what I call you today, the horror movie queen, the horror writing queen.
Whatever, horror something.
Yeah, take that. So this is Kat. Kat's a good friend of ours and a massive horror movie buff. And yeah, as I said, literally when I first saw the trailer, I was like, I gotta talk to Kat about this. So how are you?
I'm really good. Like I was saying to you guys before, I've just been sick, watching movies, reading books. It's school holidays, so been pretty fucking sick.
Well, it's not too bad. So for those that may know Kat, Quarry still does a podcast called TGIF, which I've guested on. I did Candyman, and you and I nearly peed ourselves. It's still one of my favorite pods I've ever done, just because there was legitimate tear laughing as we watched it. Did you do TGIF, Max?
No.
Suck a dick, Max. You didn't do it.
Pick a movie and come and chat.
But of course, as I mentioned, you've also got Hear Us Scream. Before we jump into the chatting about the Quarry, give them a quick run. Show us your horror credentials.
Okay, so my name is Kat. I am a sociologist from Wollongong, Australia. I'm also a history teacher. So I talk a lot about the history and, sociological perspectives of horror on my website, Hear Us Scream, which is an inclusive online outlet that raises the voices of marginalized groups in horror and gives these people a really important platform to share their perspectives on horror. We also have a book, which is an anthology of personal nonfiction essays where horror lovers, typically in our books, it is our non-binary and female and trans pals that are writing their personal essays. And yeah, we have a magazine coming out at the end of this month. So really looking forward to that as well.
Everything's coming up Millhouse. It's awesome. So many cool things.
I feel like I'm way too underqualified for this discussion tonight.
Well, see, that's the thing. So even with myself, I really haven't... I'm not someone that does a lot of horror movies because I'm a big chicken. So it wasn't until last year I dived in a little bit more. I finally went and watched Scream and stuff like that. And then obviously Candyman, a movie from my youth that scared me so much I never watched it again until I watched it with you. So I'm about as skilled in the horrors as yourself, Max. So I think we'll be okay.
You're going to play just a game. It's just a game.
But now it's time to talk about a game. So as you mentioned, this is our review discussion for The Quarry. It's the latest from Supermassive Games, though best known for their Dark Pictures anthology, which is now about to hit their fourth game at the back end of this year. And of course, Until Dawn is the big one, the name for it. They have created this movie-esque game experience where you get to sort of do the branching trees and make decisions and will they die, won't they die, etc. So, The Quarry was originally a Stadia exclusive. However, with the crumbling of the Stadia, 2K came in and saved it and put it on to platforms that work. And we've now been able to sit down and play it. Max, because you aren't a horror expert, set the scene for us on what The Quarry is.
So basically, it's it does the horror cliche trope of the counselors at a camp. So you play a variety of characters who are at I think it was a summer camp. And then hijinks ensue. People die. Things get filled with spooks, and it's like you said, it's one of those interactive movies where you kind of just play along with their experience, and the majority of the gameplay is you making decisions for those characters, whether it be A, B, or C. It's a lot of fun.
Well, first of all, we'll touch upon from a non-spoiler perspective, sort of our general thoughts, and then the second we're done, it's hard spoiler time because we've got to break this bad boy open. But Kat, what's your overall impressions of The Quarry, and how did you play the game? As in, were you playing like a director, playing like a writer, playing as if it was a real scenario? How did you spend your time in the game?
That's a really interesting question. I love that this is just a really cinematographic.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the word?
It's a correct term. Yeah.
It doesn't sound right coming out of my mouth.
It's not. Yeah.
I mean, any word sounds ridiculous if you say it too many times.
Yeah. I only needed it once, and I was like, wrong. That's wrong.
You could have doubled down. But sorry, it's very cinematographic, as you said.
What's the actual word for that?
Cinematic is the word you want.
Cinematic. Oh my god, I'm an idiot. Now I've even forgot. Cinematic.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly immersive because it is this storytelling rather than it is anything, action driven or combat driven. And I think that that's what kind of leads me into wanting to be the the guardian angel of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's played more. I play more like keeping everybody safe. Let's all stay alive, but it all ends up going. So probably producer style,
Okay.
Because things go to shit, and the producer has to kind of help fix it all back up. So yeah, I'd say that's more it.
Very nice. What about yourself, Max? Overall thoughts, and how did you play it?
As we've discussed previously, I played it as myself in the director's chair, and I very quickly decided who I wanted to live and die to the point where I actively tried to kill some of the people. And I'll explain a little bit more in the spoiler section. But overall, I enjoyed the gameplay. Games like this tend to give... it's essentially all player agency. You have complete control over what happens, what they do, who lives, who dies, how every scene plays out. Yes, there are parameters in which you have to pick your choices, but those choices are yours to pick. You're not getting railroaded into anything you didn't put yourself on that path to that outcome path, which is great. At times when you're in control of the characters themselves and you're walking around, I feel that that's when the game is at its weakest. They most of the time control like us. For some reason, they walk so insanely slowly, regardless of whether or not they're being chased to their death. It was like, I'm just going to casually stroll through here.
It's going to saunter.
There is one speed, and it's too slow. But other than that, when you're just sitting back and watching it unfold and just picking the path that you want to walk, that's when the game is at its strongest.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we have all attacked it very differently. In that I played it as if from an actor's perspective. In that for me, I was channeling the characters themselves, their personalities, how I think they would respond in the situation, rather than what I wanted them to do. So I would read that character and go, I think you would make this decision. I think you'd play this call, etc. So based on what the way the game was setting up these individuals. So an example, that jockey character, what was his name? Jason? It's not Jason.
Jacob.
With Jacob, I'm like, all right, this you are genuinely a soft, sensitive dude. So when those moments can shine through, I'll make sure they sort of pop up as a little sprinkle. But you're going to be a bit of a cockhead every other time. And then there's the other guy. We'll break into the characters in a moment. But then there's Dylan, who the entire thing is he's just a complete smartass. So even in the most intense circumstances, he is someone that masks his emotion, his fear with wit. So if I give him the option, anytime that there's a moment for wit, I'd slip it in, even if it doesn't land. It's that is that character. That is his coping mechanism in this scenario. Boom. That's how it's going to work. So very similar to Max, I do agree that, this game, although quite cinematographic, we're doubling with it now. We're rolling down.
That's it.
Yeah, it is very cinematographic, as Kat has now framed it. And there are moments where it looks near on better than real life. And then there are moments where it looks like cars. It looks so bad. And there's weird moments where it's hit and miss. But yeah, the moments where you get that full-blown agency and you get to walk around is, as Max put, it is probably the weakest parts of it. Because I don't know what it is about Supermassive, but they really haven't nailed movement. It's a little bit like Gastro. It's kind of all over the place. It's just not... It's really tough to control. It's difficult because they're wanting to go for a grounded feel of realism. However, how people really move in the real world isn't exciting to play. Like, no one's going to make quick duck and weaves that you would see with like Aloy and Horizon as an example. Everyone's kind of slow and lumbering and their arms swing about, and that's not very, very fun. But in terms of the game itself, I felt it started reasonably well. That middle bit was tremendous, and then it kind of farted its way out at the end. It didn't quite wrap up how I wanted, whether that be because of all the different storylines there are or different things trying to wrap themselves together. But we'll break that down in just a moment. But as you've both mentioned, the big thing about this game is the characters that you play. There are 7 individuals that you have control of, I believe. 7?
Yeah. 7.
Yep, checks about right. So, like, a lot of them hit. So we'll chat about characters, then we'll go into story and themes, influences, and how we played, to sort of break that in all its parts. From a character perspective, a lot of them do hit kind of your standard tropes. So you get like the jock, sort of the, how would you explain like, I want to say like the slutty-esque character. It's not the correct terminology, but
the mean girl. The
mean girl. Thank you. Like there's different terminology, and there's there's the wisecracking nerdy kid. They hit kind of all the basic what you would expect the archetypes. Got there. That's the word I wanted. Using your knowledge of the horror, how do you feel they captured these characters individually or within their archetypes?
I think they've done a pretty good job. We've got Ryan, who is like the cool but also troubled teen.
Emo as shit. He's amazing.
He's super emo. Dylan, the guy that is a massive smartass, but also the smartest dude in the entire cast.
Oh yeah.
Laura, who is this very ferocious final girl, but also wants to be a veterinarian when she leaves, like when she goes to college. Jacob, the jock, but deep inside, he's, this really touching kind of person. Nick, the cool Australian guy, who is kind of like the outsider, because he's not American, he's here from overseas. Then who else is there? There
was Abby.
Abby.
She's like the
art
girl who plays by the rules.
Yeah, exactly. And Caitlin, the cool tough girl.
Yeah.
Who, kind of seems like she's had a pretty rough upbringing. She knows how to shoot a gun. She knows how to fight. She's just really freaking cool. So when you see a lot of more modern slasher films, we do see a lot of these archetypes coming through. And I think the most recent one that I would have seen like this would have been Scream 5, where it's kind of like bringing these more modern concepts of these old tired tropes and applying it to both men and women rather than just the final girl being this, amalgamation of all these types of people. And so they've kind of like compartmentalized it in little individuals throughout. And we do have like our slutty girl, but she's not really.
I couldn't think of it. It's an incorrect term. I'm so sorry.
No, but I mean, like, we literally, I would call it the slut.
Yeah.
The the non-conservative girl.
Yes.
And even she's not. Well, her name's Emma, I think, Emma.
Yeah.
Who has the most bizarre facial capture, by the way. Everyone else looks fantastic. I don't know what happened to her face, but then I Googled it and I realized it may have just been her face, and then I felt real bad. But
no, I think there was something going off with the capturing as well. It didn't feel kind of spot on compared to everybody else, but then there was moments where it kind of like her mouth would slip funny, and then I'm like, that's definitely a graphic thing, not a face capture. But yeah, and so I kind of like that they've really honed in on this whole slasher characterization throughout the film, and even just like general tropes with everything else that goes on in the game.
Yeah, well, it's funny you keep saying that like the film, because there are times where I'm playing it and like I keep thinking about it like a film. But what about you, Max? Obviously, were there characters that you gravitated to more than others? Like. Obviously, hitting all these different archetypes across so many characters, rather than only playing 3 or 4 people, we're hitting 7, 8 people.
Yeah, so I think for me, Ryan and Dylan were the strongest two characters that I found to be. They played their archetypes very well. Jacob kind of irked me a lot, to which it was funny at the start of the game. Jacob's very mopey and down because his girlfriend's just broken up with him at the end of summer camp. I'm like, oh, dude, I'm like, dude, that sucks. I'll kill her for you. I've got you, bro. And then shortly afterwards, I realized that he was a dick, and I'm like, oh, I can see why she left you, bro. Guess who's gonna die now? Like, it was so quick, that change. It was like a snap. And
he's a roller coaster, isn't he?
Yeah, look, he made some mistakes early on and didn't last very long in my playthrough. So.
But look, everything that
happens,
everything that's happened is entirely his fault. So,
basically.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Yeah. 100% agree.
But yeah, so go ahead.
No, you go.
Well, because I'm in the same boat. Like, because I really enjoyed how they each tackled sort of different expectations, and how you chose to play them could alter those expectations as well. As you said, what started out your characters out as this way, well, apart from being dead, they may have started to go a different way. And those things I really enjoyed. Like an example, Caitlin. I do. By the end of the game, my thoughts on her were very, very different from the start. I thought she was just bitchy for the sake of being bitchy, just like keeping people at a distance, stuff like that. But as I started to play her and sort of get to the sense of who she was, and I'm starting to realize, no, this is just you, and like you're just like strong to the extent that like you will like you're a what's what I'm looking for, like not an alpha personality. I can't think of the right term, but like it's like there's no wonder you clash with people because you're a strong personality. Yeah. They're strong personalities straight away. The irony of that three characters within this game are named after like myself, Max, and my friend Dylan, and it was just really unnerving, especially with Ryan channeling all emo energy, which is my existence. Look, granted, I'm not a young African American boy, but the emo part, and he listens to podcasts, like he is me in a different skin. And then Max, not quite the same, but you can go there. And then Dylan, like my friend Dylan, covers everything in sarcastic humor, so it was real weird. But unlike the real life, maybe, apparently you can get Ryan and Dylan a smoosh if you wanted to.
I'm waiting for that because the energy in, I think, like Chapter 1 or Chapter 2 between those two, I was like, can you kiss already?
Yeah, there's like a couple little fireworks here and there, and then apparently later on the line you can make him smoosh. And
I think I was talking to you the whole way through my playthrough. I'm like, hey, just a heads up, I think you and Dylan are going to
I'm trying to set you up with Dylan.
Yeah, it's like just heads up. This is going to happen. If I can make it happen, this is going to happen.
Oh, I wish it happened in my playthrough. I'm playing again.
Yeah, I gotta go again.
Although the relationship between Abby and Nick was quite good as well. How that played out to the point where.
Also, spoilers, by the way. Curtain's gone. It's spoiler time. It's happening.
Well, I wasn't going to say anything spoilery. I was just going to say until the point happened, but.
The point where she shoots him in the guts.
Yeah, it's probably.
Did that happen on your playthrough?
I didn't shoot him.
Oh, I shot him. I totally him.
All right, before we jump into the specific spoilers, let's do some setup here. So, as Max said at the start of the recording, it is set at a summer camp. It's the back end. It's the last day of summer. The idea is that everyone's got to get the fuck out. Reason being, David Arquette's real scared about it. Old Chris Hackett. Charlie, Chris Hackett. So it's Hackett's Quarry is the name of the summer camp. He's like, look, everyone's got to get out. Old Jacob fucks with the van so that no one can leave in the hopes that he can spend one more night smooching on Emma. And she's like, no, thank you. So they're stuck there.
Like, no.
She's like, no, we were all stuck here now because of you. And of course, Chris freaks out, thinking that's like we're all trapped here, and then you're left with this mystery of what the fuck is happening. Why is everyone freaking out? We then get shots of an old man and Ethan Suplee, looking over the camp. All these different things. It's like, where is this going to go? So straight away, I'm getting Cabin in the Wood vibes. I'm getting sort of The Hills Have Eyes, with almost like those creepy, like rednecky sort of feels from Ethan Suplee and that family, mixed with some good like slasher stuff. There's a little bit of Friday the 13th in there, and then out of nowhere, all right, spoilers. We start getting American Werewolf in a fucking summer camp. We got a bit.
American Werewolf on Friday 13th.
Yeah, we got a nice bit of creature feature in there as well. So I feel that they've essentially grabbed the best parts of everything, also with a nice little sprinkle of, there's a little Evil Dead in there with Ted Raimi, but then supernatural horror in terms of like this ghostly presence, and it kind of takes all the bits of everything that you love and just smushes them together, and I think it works really well.
I think they achieved it fantastically. And the thing is, the only game I've really played by Supermassive is Until Dawn. I played it earlier this year, and I've watched so many playthroughs of the Dark Pictures anthology. And so I think that Supermassive just has a really fantastic ability to create just a very unique experience in their games, and especially in their narratives that they, put together. And how can you create... How many different outcomes were there? Like over
150 something.
Like, how do you do that?
Well, see, because I've only played one playthrough. I still don't know how significant those different endings are.
Yeah,
okay.
So unlike Detroit Become Human at the end of each level, where it shows you the branches that you could have taken, here it's completely unknown. And apparently, not everyone's seen everything, even now, X amount of weeks post release, because the walkthroughs are a little bit shitty. Because not everyone's seen everything. So even how to get the platinum is a real hard, because no one's still really sure. How did you feel they handled all these different influences, Max?
Yeah, no, they did well. Obviously, like you said, they did bring in a lot of influence from a lot of different genres. I, for the longest time, didn't realize they were going to go supernatural horror. I definitely thought this was going to be one of those. It's the humans that are the bad guys.
Yeah.
People just suck. People just suck. I thought at some point we're going to get some Texas Chainsaw Massacre style. When they're following you through the main longhouse type area, but for the most part, they did the old twist through, and they're the good guys. I'm like, oh, that sucked. It was nice in the fact that I didn't see it coming. Mm-hmm. Which I think was gives it a big up in my books. It's nice when I don't see the twist coming. But
slaughtered that entire family.
Yeah, I fucked a lot of them up. Not all of them, but most of them.
Well, before we get deep into spoilers, how many of your main characters died by the end of it? Because when you finish the game, it shows you all the people that died and how they died. So how many of your group of 7 did you lose?
2 or 3, I think.
I lost Jacob to a gunshot wound.
I lost Jacob to a gunshot wound.
I shot Jacob to a gunshot wound. I lost Caitlin to the werewolfy creature. It fucked her up something fierce.
Yeah, that happened.
Oh yeah, and that was just by complete slip up of myself.
Was that in the treehouse?
No, that was I lost. No, I lost Emma in the treehouse.
I lost Emma in the treehouse.
I think she went to jump and just completely skipped the flying fox and got piked.
Oh well,
something.
I got the card that showed me her death on the flying fox. I'm like, I'm not gonna go on the flying fox. I'll climb up the ladder, and she got wrecked going into the treehouse. Okay,
yeah, and then Nick he never came back, so I presume he's dead somewhere. Yep. David Arquette got smooshed. I blew apart the old woman's face. I straight up shanked and/or shot the old man. Ethan Suplee did alright. I kept him alive because he was nice. He was nice to me.
Yeah, so I also kept him alive.
Mine is so brutal for all of their deaths.
I accidentally killed Max. I'm like, you should go find everyone, dude. Get off the island, go find everyone. And then obviously the island was the only safe spot, so he swam across the lake, got up, and just got eaten.
Yeah.
See, I love that because I was when they had that decision, so for those who don't know, there's a moment where Max is on this island, which is the idea is that these werewolves can't like water. They can't like it.
They can't swim or something.
They can't swim. They get a Wicked Witch of the West or something with it, and they just kind of makes them go, ah! And so the choice is I stay on the island or go across. I'm like, I'm going to be a real puss about it, and I'm going to have him stay on the island. And I'm glad I did, because part of me is like, what would happen if he goes across?
My mindset was, I want Max to live, and Emma died on that island by a werewolf.
By him!
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, there's a werewolf on that island, please get off. But yeah, it turns out it was him.
What about
At
you,
the
Kat?
time, I didn't put two and two together.
Who died for
Alright.
you?
Let's go through my deaths. Nick did survive the gunshot wound
Oh.
because it wasn't a silver bullet that Abby shot him with.
Nice.
He was later put in a cage at the
I didn't do that.
the Hackett house. And I fucked around with the power, turned it off. Jacob was in a cage next to Nick, and Nick tore Jacob the fuck apart. Then
I
I blew the old lady's face off.
that was so good.
I broke the old man's neck,
Yep.
and I stabbed the other guy to death.
Well, I like. Do you mean Ethan Suplee, who's the character?
Yeah.
I stabbed him in the arm, and he was like, "Oh, this sucks," and was like, "Well, I'm out of here," and then just left, and I never saw him again. I'm like, "Okay, that's,
Well, maybe that's what happened to him. Okay, yeah, no.
You're just like really
did shoot
inconvenienced."
Chris Hackett, obviously.
Yeah.
Ted, I stabbed, but he didn't die.
Whoa.
And then he actually helped us out. So that was nice. Ryan became a werewolf, but didn't die. Caitlin had her guts torn out by the young Hackett kid.
Oh, he picked her.
Caleb.
Like for me, he picked her up and slammed. Like he just
Yeah.
destroyed her. Like hard, just
Literally
ragdolled
body
her.
slammed her.
It was brutal.
And then chewed her guts out.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Did any of you guys use your continues?
Yes.
I used one, and it was in that scene with Caitlin at the end when you get the quick time event to shoot the werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I shot the werewolf dead center in the chest, and it said you missed, and she died. I'm like, well, that's bullshit. I'm having it do over because I did not miss that shot, and she died anyway. So
Yeah, that's what happened to me. And I was like, oh, fuck off.
like, what a waste of a continue.
I was just like the only character besides Dylan and Ryan that I want to survive. That's fucked up.
Yeah, no, I did the whole I'm going to commit with the decisions that I made, for better or worse. And, like there was one where I heard some scurrying in a bush and I was like, oh, guns up. I'm like, are you? What are you doing? And then I left it. I was like, I'm not going to shoot straight away. Second scurry, but louder and more intense. I'm like, well, fuck you, werewolf badoosh. No, it was Jacob.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Because you call out, you're like, is anyone there? And
Like,
no
if
one
anyone's
calls
there,
out.
it's not as if his voice got damaged. He could have just been like, hey, it's me, Jacob. And I wouldn't have blown his face out. But no,
I mean, he's literally almost naked, covered in werewolf
he's
blood.
even more
Like,
naked now because they blew out his insides.
He's very exposed right
Yeah,
now.
he's very, very exposed. Speaking of blowing out insides, but one of the things that fascinated me the most about this game is how it decided to handle transformations into their werewolf piece. Because like rather than using American Werewolf in London, like and just like breaking through the skin, it's just badoosh, and you just
There's an explosion.
you literally explode out of your skin, blow apart everything in blood. And then it just grows back at the end of the night, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how they go back, but I do love that you hear the painful groans and the screaming and the bones breaking and the skin stretching, and then just blood.
Just this
splattered.
Hadouken of blood. It's brilliant.
I was like, oh, that's fucking cool.
And like that whole scene, like we'll break it up and like how this story worked for us in a moment. But like the scene where like Laura has to watch Max just kadoosh. I'm like, oh, so good.
Fuck.
So good.
That was intense. I love that.
But yeah, with that, so like, yeah, from a storytelling perspective, as I mentioned in my quick review, the quick chats at the start, is the first bit of the first act, I guess, or the first third of the game, I really enjoyed. I thought it was great setup, like the sort of the prologue at the start, which was sort of setting up Ted Raimi's character, both Laura and Max, and it kind of sprinkles at the supernatural horror with this white creature, like ghostly creature, and then you start to see the little sprinklings of the traveling circus family.
The freak show or something?
Yeah,
or
like Harem Scarum, I think it was called.
Yeah, that's what it's called, yeah.
Yeah, so they sort of set that up, which is really, really nice. And then as you sort of meet the characters, and they all have moments of interesting, except for Ryan, who I think gave the shittest performance I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I think they were really wanting to channeling some, like, angst and whatever, but he was just bland. Like, you can be angsty and just be, like, nonchalant without being just unapologetically boring. And I'm really sorry, Ryan. You are unapologetically boring. Like, because even the moments when he should have expressed like genuine fear and emotion, it was still the same line. Everyone else Ram's freaking. He's like, "Oh man, how scary is everything?" Oh.
How scary is everything?
Yeah. So yeah, there's that, and then the whole I guess essentially chapters 3 to 8, I thought were just riveting. Like there's, I think it's chapter 8, which is set entirely within this jail, this prison. It's not prison, like a jail cell, the police station where Ted Raimi is the policeman. You can play a mix between Laura and Max, and it is essentially a massive exposition dump around the whole werewolf mythos within the game and everything that's set up. But to me, that was the most interesting shit. Like, I don't know how they made just talking seem so fascinating. But it was so good, and then as Max mentioned, like the chase throughout the log cabin, having that nice sort of like slasher Friday 13th Chainsaw Massacre feel, and have these little moments where you get to sprinkle character, like when they're like, hey, you know, stay in the room, don't make too much noise. All right, go to the beach, set off fireworks, bold strategy, Cotton. Like overall, when we can break into its parts. And then the ending sort of kind of just the down a little bit as it tries to close up all the potential paths, and clearly knowing there's only so many endings, it's trying to bring it all back, and I think it did a little bit poorly.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm trying to even remember like really what happened in chapter 9. I think I was still in the house. This is the chapter called the Matriarch. So this is where there's heaps of stuff going on in the house. Mm-hmm. You blow off Constance's face, who's actually played by horror legend Lin Shaye, and who's fighting with her son, Ted Raimi, who is the brother of Sam Raimi, and it's just like a real clusterfuck of everything that's going on in that house at the time. So you're also playing as Ryan and Laura trying to escape from everybody who's in the house. So it just felt really rushed, that like start to finish of the chapter. Mm-hmm. But in saying that, it's pretty interesting. I love the blowing Constance's face off. Ryan trying to hide scared the crap out of me because I hated the parts where you'd have to hold the breath, because Ryan at this point had been stabbed in the chest.
Oh yeah, got stabbed so good.
Or in the.
Did you keep the knife in?
In the side.
No, I pulled it out.
What? You always gotta. It's first aid, man. You gotta keep the knife in.
Did I keep it in? But then I pulled it out later.
Yeah, I pulled it out to shank.
To shank the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I pulled it out for. Yeah.
I did enjoy that as he's like creeping around the house, slinking his way with his big giant knife hanging out of his side.
And he's just like, trying to like not fuck himself up on it. But yeah, like I don't like the parts where I've got to hold my breath so that I don't get caught, because a lot of the time it didn't matter anyway. So I
felt that
just
way.
Not
Yeah.
held my breath and got caught. So I don't know. Personal choice, personal preference.
Were there any big story highlights for you or real down notes? Because speaking of down notes, the second that both Emma and Jacob jump in that water, and it's the most. It baffles me that there are moments where this game looks like the most realistic thing ever, and then the water is horrendous, and it completely removes all immersion and any emotional like punch within that scene, because you just see this water going, and they're not really doing watery things. It's just it was.
They're still working on their water. What's the word that they use in gaming?
Like fluid dynamics or whatever. It's
dynamics,
just
yeah. And it's just like, they got grass down, in Horizon, and now they've got to get water in the Quarry, so...
Yeah, but when there are games, like open world games that have endless possibilities, and they can nail to make water look good, where this game... So the reason this game can look so good is because it's very tailored circumstances. Like, they only have to render and make whatever's in that room. So the idea is, here's an entire scene set in water, and you can't make the water look good. That's a problem.
Yeah.
Then don't put it in the water.
Yeah.
Or spend more time crunching out that water.
There was a couple of things like...
we needed the water to be less crunchy. That was the issue.
That was huge.
The water needed to be less crunchy.
I found that sometimes the trees would look funny or dodgy, especially when they were doing like overhead shots, like bird's eye view shots on things, where I'm like, oh, that tree looks a bit funky, like it had glitched, and then it was just, yeah, it was glitchy in some parts where I was just like, what are you doing? What's going on here?
I did have some mad texture pop when Emma and Abby went on their cruise along the waterfront when they were in the golf buggy. Yeah, that was bizarre.
The biggest like technical problem that I had was lighting. It was fucked. So before I got my new fancy TV, because if I don't talk about my new fancy TV in every episode, that's what I do.
I need to know about the new fancy TV.
Oh, so
you really don't. I've heard about it like 50 fucking times.
Look, I literally I was playing the Quarry. I'm like, I can't see dick in this game. This is bad. And then I went and bought a new TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's amazing.
I was just cheap and just used the 80s horror filter.
Yeah, so I had to after doing that, and I got sick of that. I was like, I'm gonna get the TV. But new TV. There's something wrong with the HDR within the game. As in, things that are black, yeah, they're black, but okay, so if you go and mess with the sliders, or let's bring the brightness up, let's bring the whites of the HDR, you could have it all at 100, and it still was just unnecessarily black.
Yeah, I always have to turn it up just because I have astigmatism. And so, you know how in horror games they're like, make it so that you can't see the thing. And I was like, then I'm not going to see anything in the whole fucking game.
Yeah, you and I have the same vision.
Why do you want me to do that?
I also have the same thing.
You do? Yeah. So, like, I'm always turning the white up all the way, and it's still dark for me no matter what. So it's like I can't really tell the difference. So when other people are like, oh, I couldn't see when I turned it up, I realize, okay, they're not making it as accessible for people with poor vision.
No, and then once you leave the prologue and go into the thing, like, because if you don't change those settings back, you're like, and you just get
as soon as it becomes daytime, you blow your eyes out because it's so bright.
But how I know,
I just left it.
So this tan that Kat has right now, solely from
the Quarry,
chapter 1 of the Quarry. What I also found, this is how I knew it was a lighting problem with the game, is there are times where I'd walk in and if I looked up, it would be really dark. And then if I looked down, where I was just looking suddenly gets really bright. It's almost like there's this like plank. It's this way, like what's what I'm looking for? A plane. And as I look down, that plane shifts, but the lighting's all kinds of messed up. So it would just decide what I don't know how to explain it because I don't know how it broke.
Yeah. Similar to the issues that I was having, that on the boardwalk on the island when you go up, I would chronically get lost on that thing because I couldn't see properly. So I was like looking up and then like to make sure there wasn't anything around, and maybe there was a collectible or something that I needed to get on my way through, but then I wouldn't be able to find my way like to the other side of it. I'd always end up back looping around because it was too dark for me to see where I was. And yeah, it was just some parts where there was like no features that would tell me which way was in and out of something, and I'd be walking in loops, and I was like, this is a linear game. How am I walking in loops? Like, get me the fuck out of here. Like, I followed the path. Why am I back here at this tree? Oh, it's a whole walk around. Okay, so obviously this isn't...
Oh, I know the exact bit. This is when you're playing Nick?
Yeah,
like
and then I think there's like an Abigail's...
yeah. It's a big open... What feels like an open field, and you're like, well, I'm following the path, and then suddenly you're back where you started, and you're like... And there's it wanted me to go, and then it does the the camera switch, so where it goes from a 3D sort of free roam camera to very Resident Evil, early Silent Hill fixed camera, and it goes boop, and it's
like
telling you
in the wrong spot.
It's telling you walk that way, and I go nah, and then I wonder why I'm lost,
I didn't even know that was a thing until now.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes all the sense.
So so they did once again bring in those sort of influences within the game space as well. So what the early Resident Evil games and the early Silent Hill games were really known for was these fixed cameras. So as you walk around like tight corridors, the camera would sit in certain locations to really sort of add that sense of like vulnerability. Like it's up high and it's watching you like from a balcony, and you have to walk across, and the balcony's in front of the shot, and you know, sort of like really like it adds a nice claustrophobia to certain encounters. But it's also very like it's good and bad because it's old school and it's cool. But like the second you do that, like if you're holding left because you're walking left on the screen, and then the camera changes angles and you're still holding left, the person goes, "Oh fuck, hang on, that's not left anymore. Left is this way," and then suddenly you start winging around. So unless the player characters control really well, the second you smooth that at camera, it's bad. And because it doesn't control well, it's
wasn't a fan of that.
No. It's a real tough. So like I've been sitting there thinking about the game, and like we have gushed, we've talked about our unique experiences, and I think that's what makes this game so amazing. And these kinds of games is that we can sit here and we, the three of us, have incredibly different experiences, whether it be something as simple as who survived, who didn't, the dialogue choices that we made, the interactions between the characters, or so one of my colleagues from work, we were sharing our story, and they didn't even see a big hunk of Chapter 10 because they shot Laura instead of shooting Chris. So because Chris was the alpha wolf, the first one or whatever, when he dies, everyone else gets cleared.
His son was the alpha.
Yeah.
But Chris was the one who had turned a lot of them.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. Like he was one of the ones that had turned most of them. So if you took Chris out, everyone clears up. But if you don't, he stays werewolf and just chews everyone's face off.
Did everyone chop off Dylan's arm?
Yeah, I cut off Dylan's arm.
I didn't make a cut off his arm.
Dylan got bit.
There was a
so
scene
we had to
where
cut
I
off
was
his...
literally like, cut my fucking arm off.
Yeah, we have to cut his arm off so he didn't get
He
infected.
never got bit.
What did you do? He didn't get. How did he not get bit?
Because I would remember chopping off a dude's arm, and I don't think he did.
You know, I get that, but how did you survive?
Oh.
Did you go to the PA and make the announcement?
Radio
Try
show?
and radio out? Yeah. How did you not get bitten through the roof?
He didn't get chomped.
Because you didn't pull the cable down.
Nope.
That's why. Because
why would you not have pulled the cable down?
Why didn't you pull the cable down?
I don't know, but he didn't get chomped, so who made the right call? This guy.
I don't know, he was pretty cool about getting his arm cut off.
He was like, just fucking cut it off, and then he was totally fine afterwards.
Which is super weird. All right, so I know this is horror movie tropes, but like...
No, okay, I can explain it.
All right.
So, if you were infected by the werewolf, you would heal whatever was wrong with you, right? So like when Ryan gets turned into a wolf because Laura scratches him or bites him or whatever, his wounds all heal. So because Dylan only had his arm cut off, his arm was like no pain, nothing when they cut it off. But the infection, like the werewolf infection, didn't continue to spread through his body.
But if it hadn't spread through his arm though, and you chop it off, therefore the infection hadn't passed the wound, therefore it would still really hurt, right?
Well, not in the game, it didn't.
Yeah, okay.
In real life, it hypothetically, if
I'm pretty sure Dylan took drugs in my playthrough. I'm pretty sure there was painkillers that he was taking.
Oh, he did have painkillers, yes.
Oh, cool. Just some. He just had some Nurofen. Sweet. Just
no, he had like some pretty hectic.
Yeah, no, he was. Yeah.
So, because with that in mind, there are a couple of leaps that you sort of have to come to in this game, which is to be expected with most things like this. The example bit is at the end of the game, like you go to the spoilers. You go to the harem because you haven't had spoilers already. you go to the harem scarum location where, you know, some kids burnt down this whole traveling circus, which apparently Ted Raimi had no idea was there. Mind you, at the start of the game when he pulled...
What do you want about it? Yes, he did.
No, in mine, he's like, what's all this? I've never seen... I'm like, how have you not seen this before? You fucking interrupted me at the start of the game right here, and why are you so baffled that this exists? And then he's like, man, we've been hunting this white wolf for 6 years. It's been over there. How have you not just gone to where it was from?
That's crazy. Now in my playthrough, he knew exactly what happened because he's
Yeah.
like, my niece and nephew was
Yeah, no,
trying to
he
save
knew,
this
no,
kid who was
he knew that it happened, but in mine, it's almost like he didn't know that location. So, like, he's been hunting for 6 years and just didn't think to look over there.
Well, in
Because we
mine,
went there and the white wolf
he
was
was-
there.
He was full on explaining that the white wolf had like pissed off and hadn't returned in so long that's why like
just found it.
they were trying to bait him in every moon.
Yeah, well, either I misread it or I got a whole different experience. Probably the first one. Because I was so baffled by that leap of logic. I'm like, how did you not just look at
did
it?
not know?
They're like, he has a little house here. He has this built little nest that he's made. I'm like, then go to the nest more often.
My understanding was he had just recently returned, and that's why they were setting the trap this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I gathered from it as well.
Alright.
But
Yeah.
also, I just ruthlessly shot him while he was sleeping.
Yeah, I also shot him while he was sleeping.
I was
I was
that's
like,
so fucked up. It's a kid.
And then afterwards, I
Yeah.
instantly regret. I'm like, maybe I should have let him live.
Yeah,
No.
me too.
I changed my stance. I would thought about it and went, look, I'm really sorry, kid. You fucked up a lot of people. And if you're the OG, then
You gotta go.
You gotta go. I'm sorry. It's the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the man, of the boy. As they, I didn't ever said in Star Trek, but they may have.
Didn't get that one.
But one thing we haven't touched upon yet is the narrator. So Supermassive, best known in terms of the storytelling is the narrator character. So there's the dude in the top in the sort of bowler hat from the Dark Pictures, where here we've got this old crotchety-looking woman who, she looks like Mac's mum from Always Sunny. It's real weird. Looks like she has a lot of cigarettes. She's got one eye going in a different direction all the time.
Eliza.
Like if Eliza, I wasn't sure whether it was bad facial capture or they intentionally wanted to make her look all jacked up, because I couldn't take her seriously in any step.
We're talking about the tarot reader.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, wasn't she injured in that fire? That's why she was
Yes.
jacked up.
Well, now I feel like a prick, eh?
Good one.
Look, I killed her son and I made fun of her disability. I feel like a horrible person.
Did
Yeah,
you
because
see her get absolutely annihilated in the QuickTime event where she was impaled by a metal bar?
yeah.
No,
Mate, were
she
you
did
paying
not get
attention?
jacked up in mine at all.
Yeah, no, she got jacked up.
No. So for me, she walked in, everything was on fire. She went, no, and then just walked through the fire, and that was it.
Yeah, no, that's
She did not get remotely jacked up in mine.
Whoa. That's nuts.
So, like,
You
I just
find-
thought she was weird. I didn't
How many of the
realize-
tarot cards did you find?
Not that many.
Did you find the one where she got like real nasty?
Yeah, she got, like, real angry, and that's what gave me the...
Did she fully convince you to try and like kill all of the Hackards and to not progress through the story?
No?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was the Hierophant.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there you
Yeah.
go.
At one point, she's like, "You need to stop what you're doing. I'm
Yeah.
not willing to help you anymore. You've got to do this.
Yeah.
Don't come looking for me and my son. We've been hurt enough." It was crazy. And then
I
I
don't
ended
remember
up
that.
just being like, "Screw you, bitch! I found 2 of your tarot cards and you only let me use 1. So now you're gonna die, I guess."
I
So,
had
like-
quite a few.
Wait, so did
Yeah,
she die in yours?
No.
Oh, I was going to
Yeah,
say, because at the end of the game, she was just all sad and stuff. I was like, oh, that's a
Yeah,
shame.
it was that ominous. I'm gonna get you
Yeah.
now.
I'm like,
I guess.
Bring it, woman. I have no idea who you are.
I have no idea who you are.
It was. I was like, apparently, like, yeah, you gave me no reason to care or feel. So there you go.
Yeah, I found some of them. I found like the Hanged Man. I found the Tower, the Lovers,
Yeah.
the Empress, the Chariot, the Moon, Justice. I found the Hermit.
I found a ton, and I missed one of them because I wasn't paying attention, and it was
Oh,
one of
no.
those. It was on one of those. You can't go back into the room and just pick it up.
Oh,
I
was like,
went through like the first 3 chapters not picking up a thing. And I was like,
really?
how, like, am I an idiot? The answer is yes. But in this specific example, I don't know how I got so far without picking up a tarot card. I was perplexed.
There's one in. I think there's one in chapter 3 that's like unmissable unless you're literally not paying attention.
you didn't get it.
No. Because I like remember Max, you and I'm like, I have not found a single tarot card. I've got 17. I'm like, fuck you. Like,
they don't even mean anything. I wasn't even a big fan of the whole concept of the premonitions when you picked up like certain parts in Until Dawn, because like it doesn't. I don't know if it really do anything.
Like,
but it gives you additional choices if you pick up the tarot card. So like, for example, here I'm having a look on the wiki. It says the hangman, if you found it in chapter 2, it shows Jacob getting caught in a trap and being hung from a tree, then throwing dirt in the eyes of the captor. However, if you don't pick that up, you don't get to throw dirt in the eyes of Bobby. You just get blood put on you.
Yeah, I didn't get to throw dirt.
You don't get the choice. You just
Which is hilarious, because the whole point of putting the blood on you was so the werewolves would think you were one of them and they would protect you. But at the time, no one knew that. They just thought they were trying to like jack you up for something.
Yeah, just trying to like slaughter you.
But like from an artistic sort of imagery, like a stylistic choice, like the shots of them just going bleh, was awesome.
That was cool.
I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? This is so cool. But look, we've been chatting for... Was it, sorry?
Fun fact, Jedediah is Lance Henriksen, who was in Alien and was also in Pumpkinhead. So just some little... They're the only films I've seen him in, but he's in quite a few horror films. And yeah, so that adds to the abundance of people that they have in the cast.
Yeah. Well, so we've been chatting for a good while now, and like we probably not in a bad way. I've been thoroughly enjoying this, but I guess we'll just sort of, now that we'll tackle it this way. Like the reason I wanted to have you on the show, Kat, was just to chat with you because you're awesome, but secondly because of your love for horror and movie, and so like if you look at this, like how are you with this from that angle? Do you believe it set out to achieve what it wanted to?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I know that towards the end, it kind of just felt like they were kind of shoving things into like a bag and then like pulling them out, going, let's do this. And I don't think it was as well thought out and directed as it could have been. But other than that, the story arc, the character development, the characters in general, the setting, it really hits all of these really great elements of horror that people do love and hold near and dear, especially because it's in a game, and finally having all those things that we love about slasher films finally represented and shown through a game is just really freaking awesome. Like I loved that I essentially got to direct my own horror movie in a way.
Yeah. And of course, and then so you essentially got to direct like big name actors, as you mentioned. I've worked with Ted Raimi. It's all good.
I've worked with Ted Raimi.
Yeah, have any of you tried the director's chair mode?
No, I haven't.
No.
Kind of select how. So I went in. Yeah, so I dabbled for a little bit. So there's essentially 3 options, and it's everyone lives, everyone dies, and then there's you set parameters for each of the characters, and you let the story play out how you've designed those characters.
Well, because I'm very curious on it, because I think I got it done in like 8 hours ish, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious on if when you remove all the moments we get to wander around and you just experience the cutscenes, like how long the game is.
I don't know if that's the case.
Oh.
I haven't played through it. I haven't like done the director's chair mode long enough to know if you still have to do those walking around scenes, or if it just plays them moment to moment.
So if I could just watch it, that would be amazing. That would totally get me back into it.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's just another way to experience it as well. It giving that different perspective and opportunity to be like, what could I have done differently?
We should also mention. Sorry to interrupt. We should also mention that the online capabilities are now active for the game.
Yeah.
So there'd be a ton of fun to jump on stream and like have people throw in, and because like one of the greatest things.
No, the only problem is I don't have 8 friends.
No, I don't. Shit.
Yeah, me neither. I'm just like,
I have you two. We've already played it.
So it's like, let alone 8 friends who own the game.
I'm meant to be playing with one of my friends because he wants to do Dry July, and he's like, let's do the Quarry, and now we know that we need to have like that many people. We're like, Don't know if we can do that now.
Well, you can kind of delegate, like, well, you have 4, I'll have 3, and
Yeah.
sort of, go from there.
That could work, yeah. That could possibly work.
But yeah, no. So, what about yourself, Max? What are those final thoughts? Did you think it set out to do what it wanted to do?
I kind of agree with you in the fact that the first 2/3 of the story were stronger than the ending. It kind of missed its crescendo, its big ending. It didn't quite land the way I think I don't know whether or not it didn't land the way they wanted it to, but it definitely didn't land for me. I found the middle section, what you refer to as the essential info dump, to be the best part of the game, because it filled in all the blanks, but you're still doing that. You still have that character agency of, you can either deny the information that's been given to you to try and work it out for yourself, or work with it was Chris, it was the brother, right? That there was the police officer.
Yes.
Chris Hackett's brother.
Yeah.
So he's obviously giving you he's like, this is what I know, you can either choose to believe me or not, and then if you don't, you get put in the position where he's like, well, if you're not going to believe me, I will show you and give you that undeniable truth.
Yeah.
And that whole scene, or that whole section of the game, I think for me was just the strongest point of the game. And yeah, unfortunately, it kind of went downhill a little bit after that. That was kind of the peak for me.
Yeah. See,
a bit muddy.
Yeah, look, I'm in a similar space. I do believe that this game has, with its intention of sort of taking a lot of influence, whether it be from a bunch of different movies and characters and etc. I think it really did. It is the sum of its influences, in that it's grabbed the best parts of everything, put it together, which in theory should make it really derivative. But I found that by the way they've laid it all together, it actually made a really engaging experience that kind of hit the best parts of, as I said, creature feature stuff mixed with, like the slasher energy, and like there was this ghost energy that the supernatural part that no one really addressed. So like there's a woman, we've seen her a couple of times, but no one, like that never got closed up.
Out back.
I'm like, well, we don't worry about the ghost now because we have werewolves. I'm like, yeah, but the ghost, like, nah, fuck, werewolves are cool, eh?
Wasn't that just Eliza calling for her son?
Yeah, but like, why? Like, there's that scene where before I fucking choke out old man, she's just in the window, and I'm like, well, why are you there now? Like, did she climb? Like, is she actually a person that climbed up the side and just stood there? Because like, there's been no acknowledgement of ghosts otherwise. But yeah, for me, look, I really enjoyed what it is as a whole. As we discussed, that back end really kind of slows it down. I feel it's kind of in this struggle that, for a really crude scenario, is what Marvel are doing right now. Is the way they started very narrow, then they shot wide in order to bring in your X-Men and all the other side, and like hence the multiverse stuff, and now they're trying to tighten it back up. And that's what I felt this game did. It really wanted to demonstrate its ability to create art, these branches on these trees, and then as you start building these branches and taking down these multiple paths, you realize that you are shooting incredibly wide. And at some point in the game, they've got to bring it back, because there's no way that they can make 400 endings.
Oh shit.
Yeah, oh shit. So like, not saying that I ever felt that like choice was taken away from me, but it did feel that it was kind of going down. So, and like an example, like I didn't find Ryan as an engaging character, and I'm disappointed that he was around and involved as heavy as he was. And it sounds like for all of us, and even you mentioned that, there's that scene at the end with him and Laura, that whole chapter 9, which means he has to survive until chapter 9. So like the idea that you could fuck him up prior, like there are individuals that are immune until the end, or immortal until this particular moment in time.
Yeah.
Because really, like, I should be able to murder them all in like chapter 2 for true autonomy, right? But yeah, as we discussed and we start to see these threads through each individual story, you go, okay, well, this character's supposed to make it to this point, so it's really not as flexible as we're led to believe, which is interesting. But in terms of gameplay,
Sorry. I just actually had a quick Google to see when Ryan can actually die. Just out of curiosity, and he can only die in chapter 10.
Possible deaths, chapter 9 onwards.
Yeah, but we have choice.
Oh, really?
But apparently, we have choice and agency. So it's like it's really tough because, like, to me, I didn't find him engaging enough to be the main character. So, like, if he happened to have died earlier on, I would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I mean? Like there are the moments I really enjoyed, like, which we didn't touch upon yet, which was the Caitlin and Dylan in the car yard in the wreckers. That whole scene with the magnet, amazing. Brilliant.
Yeah, that was cool. Really enjoyed that.
But yeah, in terms of gameplay, I found it to be more of a...
That scene actually, before that scene, really annoyed me. Because they were with, it was Caitlin, Dylan, and Abby. And they're like, we don't need all three of us. Abby, stay here. Like, no, why? Just stick together. There's people trying to kill you. Why are you leaving someone behind for no fucking reason?
And the one that doesn't know how to hold a gun and follows the rules, like, yeah, just like you stay. Rules are important. But yeah, so with this being an ex-Stadia game, and Stadia being an entirely streaming-based platform, one of the big things they couldn't do is really rapid quickfire QTEs, because with allowing for that level of latency, everything was delivered to a sticker movement, up, down, left, right. There's no face buttons. It's as simple as that. So I felt that there, aside from those shooting moments, I would dodge the tree branch. I would take over the step because there's so much free time to make that QTE. But with Until Dawn, it's like, square! Nah, you fucked, too bad.
Dead.
Yeah.
Dead.
And like that was kind of fun because there was a pressure to pay attention. Where here it's like, up. Right. So the only way I would have failed them is if I chose to.
The amount of time that I got distracted doing something else and failed the QuickTime event.
See, I was really smart and timed my...
More often than not.
I timed my Ritalin for when I was playing, so that way I know I would stay engaged. Otherwise, I would have been
I'm not medicated, so unlucky me.
But yeah,
I was like, oh, what's this? What's that under my bed? Dead.
Turn around, everyone's just murdered, but not Ryan till chapter 9.
Slaughtered.
Yeah, I had my wife sitting next to me as I was playing it. And it was the start of a chapter, and I kind of zoned out. I was checking Twitter, and I looked back, and she's like, you missed a tarot card. I'm like, fuck.
Where were you, Ellie? Like,
why didn't you get it?
Just push the button.
But yeah, look, I said, overall, my experience was really positive. I did enjoy it. I think it's great. I would like to play it again with more people and just sort of really give it almost essentially we'll all sit down, have a couple of beers, and we just play the game and see where it takes us. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So I'm not quite done with it yet, even though I've got my one playthrough. But it was all very, very good.
I'm excited to do a couple of more playthroughs.
Very much so. But we didn't say this at the start, but big thank you to 2K Australia for providing us all a review code. Did you pick up? Yeah. Because I remember you picked up yourself. But yeah, it's a big thank you to them. We thoroughly enjoy the support for letting us dick about, and then also make this just chat about it, which is a ton of fun. But before we do wrap this up, Kat, if people want to hear your tone, your thoughts on the horrors and whatever you want, where can they hear?
Just follow me on Twitter at @catstead_. I put everything that I'm ever on there, wherever it is.
It's above your head.
Above my head. Oh, that's my name. Yeah, Dirt. That is literally where you can find me on Twitter.
Yeah.
I post everything there. Yeah, all my podcast new season of my podcast will be going live soon. So, yeah.
Yeah, so go check out TGIF on your podcast service of choice. Go check out Hear Us Scream. Volume 1 is out and available. Volume 2 is right around the corner, I believe.
Yeah, coming out in October. So we're making really good headway. We have most of our first drafts of essays back. And yeah, we're hoping to launch the week of Halloween.
So, what timing?
Perfect timing.
Yeah, excellent, Max. And I'll let you do the spiel.
Well, you want me to do the spiel?
Yeah,
I've been away for 2 weeks.
Oh, you can start it.
I don't know what to do.
Ah,
You've thrown
fuck.
me into the deep end, and we're not doing our regular show. But if you'd like to catch us on our regular show, you can check us out Monday mornings at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes.
There's a next part.
Is there?
Social medias.
Yeah. And if you want to take part of your conversations with us, you can check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter. All of those links and our names can be found in the description below, and apparently above our heads.
Yeah, don't check out Facebook. Facebook got hacked. We don't have access to the Facebook page right now, just so you know. Someone got into our Dylan. Someone went in to Dylan's Facebook, kicked me and Josh off as admins, put whoever they are as an admin, then kicked Dylan off. So we're expecting some sort of message in a couple of days to be like, would you like your page back? Give us money. I'm like,
Really? That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
it's not actually. It's not hilarious at all. But yeah, it was really interesting to get a notification that went, oh, wait, what? I own that page. I have an ABN that says I'm the business owner for the PopCulturists. How can I? Fuck. But if you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/PopCulturists where you can watch us record our shows live. We can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can tell your friends, tell your family about this discussion at our regular PlayStation podcast. If you are on YouTube, if you are on podcast service, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you are on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/popculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts, other assorted shit with our logos on it, or you can help support the brands and help support us, just like Manscaped, who we ain't talking about here, but they're a thing. Use the promo code, trim your shit. But anyways, that was our review discussion on The Quarry. I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
I'm Kat.
And we'll see you next time.